SMT Nation, we back. We got this article from Fierce Wireless. It's titled T-Mobile CEO boasts spectrum depth for fixed wireless access enterprise prospects. This actual story came out yesterday. I'm just taking a look at it now and I was reading some details. Interesting stuff that I caught during the earnings report from T-Mobile. I think they're worth discussing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and link this. You guys can check out the whole thing. I just want to highlight a couple of things. First, let's start with fixed wireless access for T-Mobile. This is their home internet over their cellular network. It's a winner. They added 560,000 high-speed home internet connections. That number is absolutely tremendous for them. They're probably going to guide up for the rest of the year. Q3, Q4, what would be a fair expectation? I would say it's possible for the upside. They could potentially add an additional 1 million customers, meaning that they would average an addition of 500,000 each quarter for Q3 and Q4. Combine those for a million. It's very possible. Do they come in at 800,000, 900,000? I think that's a slam dunk. I don't think it's going to take much for them to hold around that point. So expect them at 1.5 million customers today to go well beyond 2 million and possibly approach about 2.5 million customers through the end of this year. Therefore, the growth is phenomenal. They're really starting to push the home internet providers, cable ISPs. I talked about that in a video yesterday, and it'll continue to be the story for them. All right, now what you need to do when considering fixed wireless home access, you got to have spectrum, you got to have backhaul, you got to have the fiber that's run to the towers that provides a lot of capacity, right? And they're going to do all of this over their N41 5G UC, and they're just going to have to continue to upgrade tower sites, and they're going to have to continue to create more capacity on tower sites. Now, they will tell you that the way that they look at the fixed wireless access is they're basically selling excess capacity on their towers. Each sector on each tower has an individual amount of capacity, and you provide it to your mobile users, and then the extra is what they're doing with it. One of the quotes that they indicated, and I mentioned this on the podcast the day of the earnings report, uh, Mike Sievert said, we have such and such spectrum, we have this much and this much, and we're gonna be a leader there for some time to come, right? And it will be unique for some time to come. And they went ahead and quoted that in this article. So I want to take a look at these numbers. All right, 110 megahertz of midband. What they're talking about there is the N41 piece. 30 plus of low band. I'm not sure how they calculated that. In some places, they've got 10 megahertz of N71 on air. Some places 5 megahertz on air. Some places 15, 20, 25 if they're leasing it from another company like Columbia Capital or Dish, right? 140 dedicated to that 5G layer he's talking about here. All right, the 110 plus the 30 says that's unique and it will be unique for some time to come. The only issue there is that it's not so much unique only because we look at what Verizon is doing with their 5G home. I'm only speaking to fixed wireless access. Verizon is going 100 megahertz in a lot of markets currently, early clearing additional markets to get more spectrum in the C-band layer, right? For them is N77. So they're going 100 plus their low band, where they do an additional 10 by 10 of band 13. In some places, they go 10 by 10 in band 5. So I'm not really sure how that's really going to be all that important when you have competitors like Verizon who can do a very similar thing with their spectrum. In fact, when we look forward to 2023, we're going to start to see Verizon go 140, 160, 180, and 200 megahertz of N77. So maybe that's what he means by time to come until that happens. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. Uh, but that window is going to be closing here within the next 365 days, right? It's literally just another year, if that. And we'll see what Verizon does to early clear and accelerate the repack from satellite over to their cellular operations. So, but yeah, I mean, it definitely is to their advantage right now. And then they went on to speak at the earnings report about MEC and private networking. I don't know how important this is right now. A lot of people have downplayed this for Verizon maybe it kind of warrants downplaying it for T-Mobile as well. But they did mention that they're ahead in architecture, and I think what they're referring to here is the standalone 5G piece. Currently, standalone 5G isn't even all that important. I don't think anybody really thinks about it from the average consumer. They may not even know what that means, but maybe it gets them in position to be talking to the advanced technology departments of companies where they're looking at situations like, how do we create these unique private networks for automating our production and automating our inventories and things of that nature. So there's some things that they're looking at that are kind of forward looking, but they're putting themselves in a position. And again, these are things I talked about in the podcast. I'll go ahead and link the podcast. I'll put an end card or something for you guys, so you can listen to some of the things that we discussed. Myself, Dennis, Dave B, and Pete, and it was pretty insightful. I mean, it was cool to hear them talk about some of these items, and it's really interesting to see that when it comes to T-Mobile business side, that they're kind of discussing these things because they're things that they've never done. T-Mobile has never been the company to go to for innovative private networking, and to see that change would be pretty important for the industrial aspects of private networking and then competitive within the enterprise sector. It's just something they've never done, or they've never been able to really do well. But hey, they're a different company now. They've got a lot of different assets. They've got an opportunity in their hands. Let's see if they seize it. All right, so comment down below your thoughts on the CEO speaking to the network piece, the fixed wireless access, the spectrum advantage, and some of those element pieces there with the enterprise side. Like, share, subscribe for more, and turn on that bell notifications to never miss an upload. All things going on with the channel are in the description. Thanks for watching. See you all in the next one. Peace.